Hey y'all, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Once again, it's been a minute, but today I find myself with an infinite amount of time in front of me, a day to myself in my apartment with nothing else to do. So I'm finally sitting down to film again, and I think I'm actually gonna do like back-to-back videos and just create some content. And the sun is shining, we have natural light in this space, it's not nighttime, it's great. It happens to be a holiday Monday, so time is our friend today, and hopefully makeup is our friend today as well. Now, I've been wanting to do this little video here pretty much since I saw someone else's video, and I'm taking inspiration from that. And this is a video from Louise Poston from 3 weeks ago. It is her 3 makeup risks that anyone can take, probably without buying anything. So this is very much a shop my stash slash makeup playtime slash taking a risk, because you know, we've been really staying in our makeup comfort zone lately, and I just feel like kind of breaking out of that and just playing around and yeah, taking a risk. So we are going to go with Louise Poston's makeup risk number 3, which is the monochromatic eye. And I'll post her video, I'll link her video down below, and I'll put up the screenshot here. But as she kind of describes this, you know, makeup risk number 3, the monochromatic eye, it's very much about using an eyeshadow color in your existing collection that one you never use, whether it's a single shadow or part of the palette. And I've been thinking about this already, so I've got a color and a shade in mind. But yeah, it's very much about creating a monochromatic eye look with a single shadow, not just a monochromatic eye as in using the same shade through and through. Certainly you can build up intensity in the corner and everything, but the whole intention of this is to use one single eyeshadow to create the look. And in Louise Poston's video, she does this absolutely beautiful kind of baby, like powder blue matte eye, and it looks absolutely stunning on her. But I feel like over here on my channel, we play around a lot with like purples and blues. I feel like we've kind of done that, maybe not specifically the like baby blue, but I wanted to try and really kind of get out of my comfort zone. So we're gonna get out of the greens and the blues and the purples and the browns, obviously. And what I thought I would try and do is the yellow eye, which I've often shied away from because of my own skin tone. I have always felt like a yellow eye on me would probably look a little bit sickly, but it's something that I've been intrigued by for quite a while. So I've pulled out all of my various eyeshadow palettes here, plus 2 singles that I think will kind of help us achieve this look. Now I have one eyeshadow here. This is from Alanna Pure, and it is the satin matte eyeshadow. It's a loose eyeshadow, and it's in the shade Pollen, which I believe was a limited edition shade years and years and years ago. This definitely fits the bill. As you can see, it's very much like a pale matte yellow. So that certainly intrigues me. I would love to see if this will work for me, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it will actually just blend away right into my skin and not actually pop the way I want it to. My other single here is another from Alanna Pure. It is their pressed eyeshadow in the shade Solar. So where this one is covered, where this one is a matte, this one is very much kind of more of a metallic shimmer, and obviously hence the name Solar, it's like very much golden. Then I have, you know, my little Revolution palette here, which has a gold shade. This is the mini Reloaded palette in Velvet Rose, and there is a golden shade here, but almost more of a bronze in certain lights. Then I have my Divine Skies palette from M Cosmetics. Okay, everybody's making noise today. I have such a hard time opening these palettes. So this is the Divine Skies eyeshadow palette in, I want to say this is Da Vinci. And so similarly, there is kind of like a golden shadow, but I feel like that specifically, like this is very much like a neutrals palette. I don't feel like that's gonna pack enough of a punch, so we're actually just gonna set that aside. Then I have my Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette, which has two contenders. We've got Amazon and Paradise, and Paradise under these lights looks almost white, but it is very much a bright gold. And I'm gonna do swatches, I think, on my wrist, and we'll show all of them as I kind of get closer to making a decision. I have a Pacifica palette here, which is all purples, so that's not a contender at all. I have this e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette, which definitely has like a very yellow gold here. It is the shade Gold Rush. There's also a paler gold called Sun Yourself. So this one here and this one, that is definitely a contender. Like that is the kind of like honeybee yellow that I'm kind of going for. I've got another Pacifica palette here. This is the Cosmic Reflect palette, hemp infused eyeshadows. I pulled it out because really there was just like one. This is called Dusty, but again, I think that's too on the champagne-y kind of pinky side, so also not really a contender. I have this NYX palette that was kind of like the NYX X Fate, the Wink Saga. Another gold in here, but this feels a little bit more coppery. This is the shade Fire Memories. And then this is a blush, I believe, which isn't really gonna do anything for us. So I think we can put that aside as well. I like the fact that we're kind of limiting some of the options here. I've got another Pacifica. Obviously I like Pacifica. And this is the Magical Eyeshadows Animal Magic palette. And there might be one. There's a shade called Dragon, which is more of a greeny gold, but I would say maybe also a contender. So we'll add that to the swatch party. And then let's see, I have my Tati Beauty palette still. I don't know if I should be throwing this out. I've had it for such a long time, and obviously this doesn't even exist anymore, but I don't think there's any real contenders. Now, if I wanted to do a full orange, certainly, but for the kind of yellow that we're going for today, no. So we've whittled the list of options down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna take this Revolution palette out of the running too. Even though that's a pretty nice gold, it still feels a little bit too coppery for what I'm going for. So let's start with the Alima Pure, the only matte shadow in all of this that has the yellow shade that is in my mind, but I really don't think it's gonna work. So it is, again, a loose powder, so you have to open the little cap here. And I'm gonna tap it into the lid, and I think just for impact's sake, I'm gonna do a finger swatch. Now, when I just dip my finger into it, like we've got full saturation there because I put quite a lot in the pot. But I think if I swatch it on my wrist, I mean, it has impact, but I feel like it's the kind of shade that will disappear right into my skin. But maybe, we'll see. We'll see. If I'm using a lot and I've got like a concentrated amount on my skin, it might work. Okay, and then we're gonna go for the Alima Pure Pressed eyeshadow in Solar. And I'm really rubbing my finger in there. Again, I want like a high pigmented swatch here. That one almost shows up on my skin less and feels a little bit more orange than the kind of yellow that I want. This is really the yellow that I am seeking to achieve. This is not, so we're gonna take that out of the running. I'm gonna do the Jungle Lights now. So again, we have the shades Amazon and Paradise. Amazon, Paradise, similar to Solar. I feel like Amazon is leaning too orange / coppery, and Paradise is almost a little too icy for what I want. So I think Jungle Lights is also out of the running. Okay, we've only got 2 contenders left. We've got the shade Gold Rush now from the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette, which I do have high hopes for because it's really, like, it is yellow. Ooh, okay. And just for the sake of expediency here, I'm going to swatch Dragon from the Pacifica Animal Magic palette right beside it. Honestly, both of these are contenders. Okay, so I'm not sure how great the colors are rendering on the camera, but here is Gold Rush from the e.l.f. palette, and here is Dragon from the Pacifica palette. Honestly, not bad. Both of them I actually quite like, and I feel like will give me what I want. I do like this, but I feel like that might make me a little sickly, and it's against the rules to use both. In an ideal world, if we were not doing this specific kind of challenge from HLP, I could use this in concert with this shade here from the e.l.f. palette, but I think we just got to go right in with the e.l.f. palette. So that was a very long-winded introduction, but I think we're going to go with Gold Rush. I think that's going to have the impact that I want. I have no idea how this is going to look. I don't typically wear yellow ever in anything. We're just going to try. Now, for the sake of today's video, because I want us to see everything, I am pinning my bangs back. The one thing I am missing from my skincare at the moment is my sunscreen, so I'm just really quickly going to throw on my Naturium Dew Glow Moisturizer SPF 50. I am down to the very, very end of this, but it's essential. It's a sunny day. We are officially in the summertime. I mean, I am probably going to shower later before I go outside again, but you know, I want this to feel practical. Okay, now we're also, how do I get into this? I feel like if we're gonna do a punchy eye, I also have to do a punchy brow. So we're once again bringing out my NYX Thick It Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara in the shade Brunette. I have been using this quite a lot lately, and really just, it's me revisiting the pleasure of having a more impactful brow. We're not going full impact, just more. So I'm gonna get the brows out of the way as per usual, but then I'm gonna go straight into the eye because with this shadow, I feel like I'm going to get some fallout, and I wanna do a little bit of a concealer trick that I also saw, I think on Kaki's channel earlier this week or just a few days ago, which was very intriguing, and it seems to be one of these like TikTok little hacks that's going around. Okay, so I'm just trying to see, I don't know if I should just go straight in with a finger application or if I should try and lay it down with a brush first, but maybe we'll go with a finger application, but I will just prepare my two little fluffy brushes to start buffing it out. And then I'll get a little bit more of a precision brush here because as I do with all of my eyeshadow, I'm gonna want something in the lower lash line. So I'm just gonna go ahead with my gross little towel here and really wipe my hands so that they're not overly sticky because I still have that sunscreen on. And I actually have been noticing that I think my sunscreen is impacting my, that is really such a pretty color, impacting the way that my mascara sits. And this actually will tie into the video I'm gonna film next, I think, which is a mascara that everyone loves and I don't. But it might be the fault of my sunscreen because I put my sunscreen everywhere. So I think it's like compromising my eyelashes. Anyways, that's for next video. Okay, I have a swatch on my finger here and we're just gonna go right onto the eyelid. And I'm not going for like hyper precision here. I just want it kind of all over the mobile lid to start. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this color. But it might be one of those things where you really need your mascara to kind of finish that off for you. But I'm just trying to get as much impact because it is a shimmer, and I mean, it has a pretty good and pigmented base, so it's not like I'm just applying like a glitter. This is very much like a full pigment full impact metallic. Yeah, I don't know that I don't love the way that this looks in the viewfinder. I don't love yellow on myself, so this feels weird, but you know, we're going out of our comfort zones. That's the whole point of this. I'm gonna just start fluffing that out. The cat is being very talkative today. Anyways, while I'm fluffing this, how's everybody doing? We're officially in July. Hope everyone made it through the June gloom. I know that I was really experiencing the June gloom this year. I'm just taking another eyeshadow brush here. This is from Eye on Beauty, and it's the eye defining brush. So it's basically just flat. I'm gonna get a little bit more precision, and I'm gonna go right into that shadow with it. And again, just kind of going for more impact. But this might be a finger shadow, because I'm not really noticing a huge difference there in terms of what the brush is laying down versus what my finger's laying down. Anyways, yeah, June gloom, I guess I've always kind of experienced it, but I think I've really noticed it this year, and I'm sure part of it had to do with the fact that, you know, there's a lot of life stuff happening. Isn't there always? Okay, I'm gonna go in with my little precision liner brush. What is this actually called? Cuthbert. I really need you to not be up here. Liner smudge brush from Eco Tools, and start rubbing that out. Cuthbert, no. God, she's such a lap cat. I'm rarely home these days for more than like an hour at a time, except for the days that I'm actually working, and then, you know, I'm busy, so I can't. Yes, we love you. So when I am home and I'm not at my desk, I seem to be always doing something, and she's just really needing my attention. And I feel badly being a bad mom. Oh, I just stabbed that right in my eye. Okay, I don't love yellow on me. Yeah, so the June gloom was very real this year. Part of it was, you know, I had my period right in the middle of the month, and I've noticed, especially in the last couple of years, and I may have talked about this before, but my mood swings and just my general sense of like emotional malaise seems to be way more intense now than it ever really was. Or maybe it's just the fact that I'm more in tune with, you know, my body and my emotions and like how they are constantly working together or against one another. But yeah, I just felt like June was a gloomy month. And it's also, I don't feel like in terms of, you know, like obviously true summer only just really started. It's July 3rd. So I mean, if we're thinking about like meteorological versus like astronomical summer, obviously those are two different things. Meteorological, how do you say that word? God. If we're talking about summer in terms of meteorology, that's just like when the weather starts to feel like summer versus astronomical summer, which is like when the solstice actually hits and we're actually defining the season. Yeah, sure, it's kind of felt warm for a little while, but I don't feel like we've truly had like consistent summer weather yet, at least here in Ontario. We've been battling with wildfires and like poisoned air and all kinds of icky things, and then it gets rainy, so like the actual big summer sunny days have felt kind of few and far between, and I'm sure that really adds to the June gloom of it all. But as I have mentioned in the last few videos, there's been like work stress and all kinds of that stuff. So and like when life is generally chaotic and you can't necessarily break out of that, especially on the weekends when you're supposed to really kind of decompress and like enjoy life, it can all feel very overwhelming. But I'm glad that it's July, that it feels like real summer. I am noticing that like at work we're getting like out of office replies because people are actually starting to take their summer holidays. Not that things are really going to slow down for me at work, because we have a major project coming out in September. So, you know, the summer is going to feel very full. At least there will be a little bit fewer inbound inquiries because other people are taking holidays. Okay, so what I'm noticing is that this shadow is actually quite patchy, and it's not my favorite. It might actually be, I don't know. It's a pretty color. I would love to see this on like a deep skin tone because I think it would be truly beautiful and like really pop, whereas I'm very green, and as I look at myself with this eyeshadow, it's pulling out my green. And let me tell you, it ain't easy being green. I don't know if there's more that I can do with this eye. So I think we have to move on to my base, and then we can fiddle around with it after that. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm just gonna close the palette here and move it aside temporarily. We may come back again after maybe like the rest of my face is done, just so that I'm not spending literally 45 minutes fussing with just the eyeshadow, because I think truly I've accomplished as much impact with that singular shadow. And again, that's the rule of this like little makeup risk: one shadow, one monochromatic eye look, and we'll see. But this next little thing that we're gonna do is, so I think like just a few days ago, maybe, Khaki decided, who's Hey Khaki on this here platform, posted a few shorts, and one of them she was doing kind of like a makeup hack for like ombre concealer, or like under eye concealer specifically. And there's a lot of comments that saying she actually didn't follow the original video correctly and she did it wrong. I've now, from doing this, have just put glitter all over my arm, so that's great. Good thing the shirt's going in the wash afterwards, because I'm definitely going to get gold glitter all over the place. So the whole thing with this ombre under eye look, which I actually think is quite pretty, but you have to start with obviously the lightest shade in the corner, and then you go with like a slightly darker shade of concealer, and then a light colored blush, and then the dark colored blush, but like all in your under eyes, and then you all blend it out. Where Khaki did her video, I think she did concealer, blush, which wasn't how it was instructed. So we're gonna do it concealer, concealer, blush, blush, and see how that goes. I kind of played with this yesterday and didn't hate it. Mind you, I was not wearing like other makeup, so we'll see. But for my lightest concealer that's gonna go in the corner of both eyes, I'm using my R&M Beauty Sweetener Concealer in the shade Medium 3W, which is like quite pale. So right in the corner, literally those two dots are all I need. And then I'm going to switch it up with a formula, and I'm gonna go back to my Kosas concealer in the shade 6. And we're gonna go here. And then I don't have two like gradient shades of blush, so we're just gonna kind of try something, and it may or may not work. But I'm gonna go in with my About Face Beauty blushes, and for the lighter shade, we're gonna go with Score, which when swatched definitely is like more pink and a little bit lighter than Smash-ish. And it also has like, it's not too creamy, so I think it's gonna blend out interestingly, or nicely at least. And then Smash, which I love so much and really haven't been using lately. And I pulled it out again a few days ago, and I was like, oh wow, I love this. I love this so much. Now, that looks insane. And so in order to blend this, we're going to take first a kind of more precision concealer brush. This is the Quo Beauty Angled Concealer. Then to kind of clean it up, I've got a little micro beauty sponge. And it's not wet. It probably should be, but it is what it is. I don't feel like getting up and putting this under water. So I'm going to start here in the corner, and then just start to blend that out. Now I don't want to go back in, so I'm just wiping my brush off and just continuing to push. I'm really dabbing versus brushing. Interesting. Now, this could go wrong. And I think Khaki says that in her video too, but what you end up with is kind of a little bit of like more blush draping on the corners there. If you were to swipe back in, I think you would be in trouble, which is why I'm kind of dabbing off of the brush. I'm not going in, I'm all of my blending out is literally happening outwards. And I am wiping off the brush in between. And I am gonna have to go in more with like other concealer elsewhere. Obviously, because I've got various patches of redness, and that almost like made it too bright under my eyes. The 3W is, now that I've had a little bit more sun, is just a touch too bright for me, for my tastes at least. I don't know how I feel about that. Magnified mirror side. I mean, I'm definitely brightened under the eyes. And the pink on the edge is cute. And I think we're going to use Smash for my blush in general today. But now let's just go in with regular concealer in my regular placements. I've had a lot of redness on the tip of my nose lately. Just a lot of blemishes, and like my hormonal blemishes on my chin have really been causing me all kinds of grief. But I have recently started using kind of like an overnight peel from Bliss, and I think I really like it. So I'm gonna play around with that a little bit more, and then we'll just come back and like have a real girl's opinion of something like that. Someone who doesn't necessarily have perfect skin. Obviously the lights might be deceiving that reality for you guys a little bit, but trust me, we've got a lot of texture. I have a lot of blackheads. I've talked about this before, but like my genetics are not in my favor where my blackheads are concerned, and my Italian nose, it's a real problem. And I've had blackheads and like also a very like congested chin since I was prepubescent. And I have never really been able to make that go away, no matter what I do, no matter what I eat, no matter like how well I take care of my skin. It just remains pretty much the same. And I know I said this before, but really like what a dream having the Kosas concealer back in my life again. It's just so good, so nice. It blends into the skin beautifully. It doesn't look or feel heavy. Like I wish I had had the access to the Kosas concealer when I was in high school. Not that I would have used a lot. I didn't have major like skin issues when I was in high school and was, you know, using makeup. I didn't really wear a lot. It was like eyeliner and blush. Bad blush, but blush nevertheless. So not too much of a difference from like what I do now really, although I'm definitely more adventurous, and we'll get into this topic again at some point. But when I was in high school, I think I very much thought that like enjoying beauty and makeup and this kind of playtime and expression would make me like vapid, and I was so afraid of being like anything other than smart. So I'm having some kind of like cakey issue under my eyes, and I don't know if that's the concealer kind of like blending in with the eyeshadow, and I think it might be. So it's creating like these weird little patches, and I don't like it. It looks weird. That was way too much to put under there, but I just wanted something like wet to kind of try and rub that away, which I think kind of like defeats what I just tried to accomplish. Under my eyes, and now there's just like far too much makeup under my eyes, and my eyes are sort of watering in the corners, which is also pulling away the pigment, which is an issue that I have constantly because my eyes are quite watery, which is another reason why I love a waterproof mascara. Okay, I'm not like immensely enjoying the way that my skin is looking either. Like I feel like I look a little pale, so I really want to bring that color back into my skin, just some life back. And in order to accomplish that, I'm not going to use my powder bronzer, my typical Anika. Love her, but I've also really been loving this bronzer stick, cream contour stick, sorry, from the brand 1999, and this is in the shade T, and it's just a really beautiful shade. It's actually very similar in shade to my Anika powder bronzer. I always forget how easy a cream stick is. And it's just like so nice and compact. And then take my brush So as I was saying, and again, at some point I will make another video where we are like specifically talking about this. I know we haven't had like some good real talks in a while, but this whole idea that like enjoying beauty or fashion makes you like vapid, makes you less intelligent, makes you just like a ditz, makes you like a typical woman doing women things that are like somehow less valuable in society, which is just garbage. So I really shied away from like letting myself enjoy those things because I had this preconceived notion that was put into my brain by, you know, wider society and the judgments of, I don't know, men. I'm gonna pull my bangs down just because they're gonna get wild. Oh, actually, with the bangs, the yellow I think works a little bit more. So maybe this is a forehead issue and not a yellow issue. Interesting. You see what we learned? I'm gonna do my blush last, but now my face just feels a little bit warmer and I am happy about that. I'm gonna do mascara, but truly nothing special. I have a new mascara that I'm trying, but like I don't wanna have that compromise the way I feel about the yellow. So we're just gonna go in with my standard Essence Get Big Lashes Volume Boost Mascara, the waterproof version. I'm gonna do that off camera. I'll come back and we'll have big, beautiful lashes and we'll see how I feel about this yellow. And then we might like do some touch-ups and then, I don't know, wrap this up and call this, I don't know, maybe a successful makeup risk. Thank you, Hannah. We'll see. Okay, stay tuned. We're back. Mascara is on and I have some mascara to clean up because, you know, it's me. I can't apply mascara without it going everywhere. But the mascara on and the bangs down. I think I like the gold eye. It's definitely really different for me. It's way outside of my comfort zone, but I think it kind of works. I am gonna go back in with my teeny tiny kind of precision brush here and go back into Gold Brush and just try and apply in the corners where my tears have kind of pulled away the pigment. But it's definitely interesting how this shadow operates. Like it's definitely both very gold and very green. Like it is a green leaning gold, but it really changes depending on how I kind of turn my head in the light, which I don't mind, you know, at least it is dynamic, and that's kind of what you get from having a metallic or a shimmery shadow versus a matte, because obviously a matte is a matte. It's not super dimensional, but I like it. I'm now just going to apply my blush. As I said, we're going to go in with the About Face Beauty Cheek Freak in the shade Smashed. I am using my Kaleidos blush brush here, which has been a real favorite. It stays in my little travel makeup, and we're going heavy on the blush apparently. Unbeknownst to me and my original plans, my hands are in charge right now, but we're gonna pick up some of that original sort of drape from the concealer hack. As always, we're going to apply to the nose, a little bit to the forehead, a little bit to the chin. And there's definitely more pigment on this side, so to remedy that. Now, this feels a little bit clowny, so I'm gonna have to go in with some corrections here. And the spot on my undernose, this spot right here refuses to be concealed. It cannot be contained or tamed. Okay, and then I have been really needing to powder lately because it's been so humid here and my typical familiar oiliness has reared its head. So I'm using my Cheekbone Beauty Translucent Powder because it is actually way more of a heavy hitter than the Kosas Cloud Set, which I don't know if I love. Maybe in the winter it'll be more appropriate for me, but I really do just love the Cheekbone Beauty powder. And I just dab into it very lightly, then dab off the excess into the lid. Because it is, well, now it is a loose powder, thanks to my period hands throwing it across the room at one point months ago. And my bangs have been doing very annoying things lately. They refuse to cooperate, even though I just trimmed them today, and that's usually when they're like, okay, Mom, we love you. To finish off the look, we're gonna go very neutral. I don't think we need to add any more color or real impact. I just want like a My Lips but better type thing. So I'm gonna use the M Cosmetics, what is this called? Lip Cushion Tinted Lip Luminizer in the shade Van Gogh. It's very much a My Lips but better nude. And I only have one of these, but it just feels so lovely on the lips. And I think that's that. That is the yellow eye, the makeup risk a la Hannah Louise Poston, and I think we like it. It definitely needs some finessing, but this was just makeup playtime, so if I were to ever do this again, I would be a little bit more probably thoughtful and not so chaotic. And, you know, I would probably take my time a little bit more, but as a concept, love it. I think it's super fun. It actually made me bring out all of my eyeshadow palettes and kind of made me realize like how much eyeshadow I have for someone who's not actually like an influencer and receiving materials or like buying materials specifically to review. Like I have quite a lot of makeup for someone who is just a quote unquote real girl. And we can attribute that to like my shopping addictions and whatnot and get into that at another time. But it made me pull all this stuff out and go, huh, I actually have quite a lot and quite a lot to play with when I want to do something a little bit different or a little outside of my comfort zone. So I think as just an exercise, this was really fun. And I think I would probably like, you know, go out in public or at least out into the backyard like this. I think I need a bit of a self-talk moment. I think, you know, me in the mirror, just to give myself the confidence to leave the house with this and feeling so bold. And, you know, if having the conversation that like if someone's looking at you when you're wearing this, it's probably because they think it looks really cool and not because they think you look like an idiot. Which would be, you know, the immediate spiral that my brain would go to, because that's just the way she is up here. But yeah, I think this was fun. I feel good. I feel like my hair is not, it's second day hair, so it's gonna be a little bit unruly. But we can always fix that with like a quick half up thing. Cute, fine, whatever. This is how I'm gonna go in and film my next video, and so you're gonna see this look, this face twice. With all that being said, I think that is everything from me today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking a little makeup playtime out of the comfort zone journey with me. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please go ahead and give me a big thumbs up down below. It actually really helps me. And if you're new here and you made it all the way through this video and you also had a cute fun time with us, I would love for you to become part of the Glam Fam. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And for every single one of you, love you so much. Thank you for tuning in and watching as always, and I will see you in my next